Welcome to RawTake, everyone, a lifeline to your unfiltered media experience. I'm your host, Gion Thomas, and before we get into the show today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Wednesday night in Orange County, California, there was a mass shooting where 4 people were killed, including a child. This happened with a shootout with the cops. The information is still trickling in on the incident. We don't know the motive or anything like that, but this is just to be expected. We have an uptick in mass shootings. Why is that? Because during the pandemic, we had people buying guns in abundance. We had gun sales were through the roof because people were expecting this in-world scenario that was going to happen that never happened. And so people bought guns through the roof. And so now you have an uptick of all these mass shootings as you start to lift the pandemic restrictions, because you have more people out, you have more people interacting with people, and people have been locked up for months. Some people haven't even gone outside. And so they're having these interactions and, who knows what's happening. But, these mass shootings are going to continue to happen because there's such an influx of guns in society. I think the statistic for every person, there's 3 guns. That's asinine that there's that many guns. Now, I'm very pro Second Amendment, and I'm all for gun rights. But I think the situation that we have going on right now, it's too much. We have too many guns in circulation. And my problem is the Democrats, I feel like they're dropping the ball on messaging and gun legislation. And it's all about how they're organizing or basically how they're not organizing and how they're not meeting with people who have I don't want to say such a affection for guns, but gun owners. Like here in Texas, we have people who just have guns. Everybody has guns. Like it's very normal for a person to have a gun. For a person to have multiple guns, 5 guns. I have friends who have 10 guns. And it's not uncommon. And these people are not bad people. So Democrats need to reach out with these people, need to talk with these people, get these people on their side of the gun legislation issue, and then we can really start having some kind of real gun legislation, some real policy, so we won't keep on having these predicaments. And I just feel like it's such a missed opportunity. I feel like Democrats get into these echo chambers and we don't, and even some people on the left, we get into these echo chambers, especially about guns, and we don't want to hear anybody else, especially among younger progressives and people on the left. They are very pro Second Amendment, but they're pro Second Amendment with common sense gun legislation, like background checks. And I know that's what the Democrats want to do, but a lot of your run-of-the-mill, average gun person, they feel like that the Democrats are trying to take their guns away, that they're trying to ban guns. And yes, that's due to the NRA, Fox News, and even the Democrats not being strong enough to say, no, we're not trying to take your guns away. We're just trying to stop crazy people from getting guns. That needs to be their main message. And they can convey that message by working with your average gun person who has an affection for guns, who has multiple guns, and they need to reach out to that person so that person can then be like, well, the Democrats aren't trying to do A, B, and C. They're really trying to do this. They're really trying to help us. They're really trying to fight for common sense gun legislation. I think we should have a buyback system. And I don't think it should be mandatory, but I think if someone has multiple guns, I think it's better to sell that gun back to the government than selling it to someone over the internet or someone you may not know. I mean, just for safety precautions, it'd be better for that person to sell the gun back to the government. You can have police departments. It could be worked with police departments where they kind of they kind of act as an oversight committee and kind of not necessarily legislative, but just watch over so gun transactions can go peacefully. I just think there's just so much more that we can do on this issue. And I think there's so much more organizing that we can do with gun owners to try and get some real gun legislation. Because I feel like when gun legislation is being crafted, that we don't get that perspective from your average gun owner. And I feel like those people feel left out. They feel left out of the conversation. So my advice to Democrats is they need to organize with your average multiple gun owner. They need to organize with those people. They need to sit down and get the feedback from them and see what they're saying and how they feel. Most people in America want some kind of gun legislation because it's just gotten out of hand. But you need to get those people on your side. You need to bring those people on your side. You can't craft policy without getting other people's input. You can't be in the echo chamber and craft policy. It just doesn't work like that. You got to get your stakeholders involved. And when I say stakeholders, I don't necessarily mean the NRA, because the NRA acts as a bully, and they are relentless on not letting any kind of gun reform. So I'm not talking about them, but I'm talking about people who actually own guns. Talk to them, organize with them, get them on your side, bring them to your side of the conversation. And then we can really get some real gun policy here in America. I'm very pro Second Amendment, but I think we need to have just background checks. I think I'm not too keen on the tracking, but I think assault rifles do need to be tracked. Maybe not for handguns and rifles, like shotguns and stuff like that. Maybe not putting tracking devices on those, but I do think automatic rifles do need to be tracked. You want to know where those weapons of destruction are, because that's really what it is. That's not home protection. What are you protecting your home from? I mean, I know some people will be like, well, we're protecting our home from the government, but people run the government. But, I always say that we have a corrupting influence of money in politics, and, that we're mostly ran like an oligarchy. But that's a side point. I'm just tired of the thoughts and prayers. I'm tired of people getting on camera and people saying thoughts and prayers.
I can tell you that we haven't had an incident like this in the city of Orange since 1997, our Caltrans shooting, and it's just such a tragedy for the victims, their families, our community, and our police department. So our condolences, thoughts and prayers go out to all of them.
Let's get some real things going. Let's get some real legislation going. Let's stop with the thoughts and prayers, and let's start with the organizing and the talking to people and the rallying together so we can get something done. I'm tired of all this inaction in America. And it's up to us. It's up to young people. It's up to us. Like I always say, it's up to us to get involved. It's up to us to run. It's up to us to organize, because no one else is going to save us. We got to save ourselves. So, guys, that's our show. Like I said before, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any uploads. Also, you can find us anywhere where you can listen to podcasts. Thank you very much. Y'all have a blessed day.